Go Blue, everyone. Michigan finds a portal quarterback. Also, Jalen Milroe's revenge in the ReliaQuest Bowl and more coming up next on a Christmas Eve edition of Michigan Wolverines Live.
You guys should check out the Michigan Wolverine Live. They're out here doing great things, doing great podcasts, great live shows. They're really just doing their thing, help them blow up.
And welcome back to another episode of Michigan Wolverines Live, show number 180. How we all doing tonight in chat? Give me a Go Blue. John Diadamo here. I'm going to be your host. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch, on X, on both the Michigan and the Alabama YouTube channels here at the Voice of College Football and on audio. We sound great on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, and Deezer as well. As you're coming in, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share with a friend. If everybody shares this out with at least one or two friends, we're going to blow this thing up stratospherically here the day before Christmas Eve. Go ahead and super chat. Just takes a second. If you want your comment or question, as usual, TJ and I have a ton of topics to talk about. And we have a preview with friend of the network, Jackson Johnson, later on tonight for the ReliaQuest Bowl. So we're not going to get a ton of chance to highlight comments. So go ahead and super chat. Because if you super chat, you know you're getting put on screen for all of us to answer your comments or questions. And with that said, to help us celebrate Christmas Eve, he's got the Santa hat back. I don't have mine. Oh, well, but you got yours. Go Blue, TJ. Happy holidays.
Go Blue, man. Go Blue. Happy holidays to everybody. Hopefully this is a fantastic, wonderful time of year for everybody, and everyone gets what they're hoping for. Santa bringing good presents for all of us, especially maybe Santa's going to bring a Justice Haynes to Michigan fans. Maybe, right? So we'll have that covered in the portal update. We got tons to talk about. Looking forward to it. Can't wait for the show, John.
Absolutely. And we got here Lance saying Go Blue. We got Keegan here. All of our members. Mason. We got Kaoki in the house talking about Day and Sawyer and saying Go Blue. Aaron's here. We got Marmar here. So we got some of our YouTube members hanging out and joining us tonight. So we always appreciate you guys. And let's go ahead and hit the, so of course, as always, we've got the Win Agency, right? Win Agency has been incredible sponsors for our shows here at the Voice of College Football Michigan channel this season. We're going to play a little December holiday video, courtesy of our friends at the Win Agency.
Hi, this is Steven from Win Agency. Happy December to all the Michigan fans and to all of our new recruits. Open enrollment is coming to a close on December 15th, which means you need to make a plan for your health insurance. Or you may end up like the team down south in disappointing results as they try to run the ball through the middle between Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. If you want to avoid learning how to lose with your health insurance, give us a call here at Win Agency and let us help find the right coverage for your needs before that December 15th deadline.
Yeah, you don't want an agency that has a poor game plan for you. You want an agency that has a good game plan. That is the Win Agency. Contact them at winagency.com or 810-241-3562. Get at them.
Yeah, of course, Jackson here coming in clutch, helping us promote Win Agency. Jackson's going to be joining us in about 50 minutes or so for the Alabama preview, as we are going to be playing each other in the ReliaQuest Bowl. So very exciting here. And then, yes, we also have the bite-sized advertising. So bite-sized advertising is a new, we're promoting them as well. Friend of the network. So at bite-sized advertising, they excel at turning complex marketing needs into seamless success stories for small business. Their team brings expertise from working with international corporations, now dedicated to helping you reach your business goals. Using advanced AI technology, they perform the duties of a large marketing agency with a focused, efficient team. This allows them to give your business the personalized attention it deserves, ensuring it thrives. They can help you appear more prominently on search engines, connect more effectively with target audience. Your small business means a lot to you, and your success means a lot to them. That's why they tailor your solutions to fit your specific needs. If you're ready to take your business to new heights and connect with your audience like never before, visit bitesizedadvertising.com and get in touch with them today. Bite-sized advertising, big results for small business.
There we go. Shout out to Bite Size Advertising. Appreciate them being a part of the network.
Boom. And with that said, TJ, we do have some big news. You have mentioned it on your video earlier today that Fresno State quarterback Mikey Keene. We have been talking for weeks about the potentials of quarterbacks coming to Michigan with the lens of Bryce Underwood, obviously getting paid a lot of money, coming in, the number one recruit in the 2025 class coming in. But Mikey Keene is coming to Michigan. And so what Mikey Keene brings, for those of you who haven't seen TJ's video yet, is a lot of experience, right? 39 career games, 8,000 yards, 65 touchdowns. Last 2 years at Fresno State, he actually had a 68.7% total completion percentage. That's better than some of our recent Michigan quarterbacks in recent past, other than JJ. And I will say, and I'm going to let you go, but I just want to give my first initial takes, which are on the positive front, right? I think he's made some plays that the other quarterbacks this season for Michigan couldn't have dreamed, right? Like he has made a couple of clutch plays. Have they been against maybe, not the greatest teams in the world? Yes, but he's still done it. And that still counts for something, because the other, Davis, Warren, Alex Orji, Tuttle, they couldn't do plays like some of the ones that I saw. But on the other hand, the other side of the coin, I think he needs enough time to bake biscuits in the pocket. He's not very mobile. 5'11". You can overcome being 5'11" if you're mobile. But when you have both of those working against you, I could see Keene being more of a depth piece. Is this the best, TJ, that you think Michigan could hope for? Because I wanted Daquan Finn, but it seems like this might have been the option here.
I too wanted Daquan Finn. I think what it comes down to is experience and familiarity. Mikey Keene played with Chip Lindsey at UCF. So he's aware of the scheme. He's already has the relationship with him. Chip Lindsey can trust him. It's one of his guys, right? And I brought this up in the recruiting or the player analysis earlier today. When you look at the NFL, when there's a high draft pick, typically what you want is a veteran quarterback who knows the system and has experience. To me, this is the same exact scenario. They want to give Underwood a veteran he can learn from, who already knows the system to an extent, who's already played in these games, seen a lot of ball, can be someone Underwood could lean on in terms of like game situations and all that. So that's what it is. And let's also be honest, okay? And like anyone who's followed me on the socials, I was not thrilled with this commitment, but he is an upgrade over what we had. And he is better than what we had. And if you look at his numbers, John, and I'm going to share this with everybody. This is Pro Football Focus's, and we'll share this. I got two pages I'm going to share.
Okay.
Do Pro Football Focus's grades of Mikey Keene. He had an offensive grade of 75, passing grade of 78. He was the 57th ranked quarterback. But this is actually the next set of metrics I'm going to show you are actually a bit more, I would say, they add more depth to the overall picture, and it actually, and I'm going to be honest here, should give some people some optimism. Okay, so if we look here, we look at his passing depth. So this is very critical. I like to look at these charts for Pro Football Focus. As you can see, in the short game, and behind line of scrimmage, we're talking 92, 80%. We're talking elite numbers, okay? when you look at Chip Lindsey's offense, he runs a power spread, but he likes to do a lot of routes, tree routes for wide receivers in that first 10 yards. And Mikey Keene is literally elite in that area. But then when we get into the next set of depth for for a quarterback, we look at this medium 10 to 19, right? This 10 to 19. He's actually thrown at a 66 completion, a 66% clip. That's actually solid. The issue with Mikey Keene is the turnovers. As you can see, 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Same with the short throws, 0 to 9 yards, 5 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. And then this is where it gets bad, though, John. Beyond 20, he's averaging 38% down the field. Now, that's obviously poor. So, you probably won't see a lot of that from Michigan unless like a play breaks, on a defense or anything like that. But long story short, if we look at the, the chart below here, obviously the middle of the field's where he loves to thrive. I mean, 22 for 33 in the middle of the field here. I mean, short to intermediate throws. I mean, Mikey Keene should be capable. The thing that Chip Lindsey and crew are going to have to clean up is simply turnover, potential decision making. He does so. Look, he's not the most, he's not very mobile. But what he can do is move a little bit in the pocket. He can throw a little bit on the run. He has those capabilities. So, in my opinion, this is a solid addition. Now, is this the addition? No. Is this who I wanted? It's not. I wanted, we know I wanted Daquan Finn or Deshaun Finn Daquan Finn.
Same. Yep.
That said, to me, John, what this means is when does Bryce Underwood take QB1?
Yeah.
I do not think it's week 1. I do not think it's week 2.
Ooh.
All bets are off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've laid it down very nicely there. I mean, I wanted Miller Moss before Finn even, but I guess we have to be a little bit realistic of who's willing to come when Bryce Underwood is, I think pretty much everyone and their mother knows Bryce Underwood is starting at some point. It's just a question of when. So you need a quarterback that's either dog enough that's willing to compete and win outright the whole season, which you need, a couple mil of NIL to pull that off. Yeah. Or you're going to have somebody who's okay with being in a mentor role. Nobody's fully okay with it, but somebody who's at peace with the possibility that they're going to be a couple of games, like a Tyrod Taylor at the Cleveland Browns a couple of years ago with Baker Mayfield, like, a couple of games or at Clemson, Kelly Bryant for Trevor Lawrence, a couple of games of, setting the tone, and then they take over. So, am I jumping for joy about this? No. Do I think Michigan could have done better? Yes. I think this is overall a bit disappointing, if I'm being really honest. But I also have to keep reminding myself of the situation that we're in with the portal and when it comes to quarterbacks and their chances to start.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's the narrative and there's truth to it to an extent. Quarterbacks are afraid to compete with Underwood. I also think, and we're seeing this, and we will definitely discuss this in far more detail when we do the portal update. Michigan seems to be very conservative in their spending efforts. And I believe if Michigan was aggressive in their spending efforts, you may convince a quarterback to compete with Bryce Underwood. I think Michigan is bargain shopping to an extent. Now, we are aware of some players, and we will get into these players on portal update, that Michigan is willing to be a bit more aggressive with. We'll talk about that more, but it's just something that I'm noticing. We'll talk about that. Listen, so we are gonna do the portal update. We're going to discuss, the roster as a whole later in the show. I'm gonna show you guys my depth chart. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it, all that stuff. But Michigan, it's very interesting watching Michigan navigate these portal waters right now. And then because the point you brought up was, okay, we got Mikey Keene. What about the weapons? Who's he throwing it to? So we'll get into that. But it's an interesting situation. I think I think he, again, it's a solid addition. It's solid. It's not a home run. It's not elite. It's a player who is better than what we had, who's going to add competition to the room and help Bryce Underwood acclimate to the college game.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, I think, like you said, I think this is, it's an option. I think that they should, it's showing that we're making a move. We're not just going to stick with Bryce Underwood and Jaden Davis and nobody. So I think that's an improvement of a sort over last season or over this past season. Hey, we're just okay with what we have. Well, at least in this case, you know, obviously Michigan gets the number 1 quarterback in the nation for 25. And then you go and you get a piece like this who may start a game or two, and then plays a really important experience role. So, yeah. Again, I will say, and we'll get more into this, but I do think overall a little bit disappointing, if I'm being just super honest. But you know what?
I get it, man.
You know what?
I think a lot of fans are disappointed, and I know, and not to cut you off, John. And I know there's also a bucket of fans trying to remain optimistic. But let me just say this. It is okay to be objective and critical of the moves your teams makes. Every single move does not need to be showered in praise. And then this whole, well, they're coaches, I'm going to trust them type of thing. Listen, you can trust experts all you want, but listen here, man. Medical deaths are the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Experts are experts, but they're not always right. All right. Fuck ups happen. Players fuck up too, bro. Coaches fuck up too. So the reality is, yes, these coaches know ball, but we got to also just be honest with shit. Like, if we don't feel like it's an elite home run hit, we're going to let you know. If we feel like it's just a solid addition, we will. If either I or John feels a little underwhelmed, then maybe we do. Now, as I've stated, the movie is not finished. Let's see what the boys can do here. There's more room. There's another week until the portal officially closes. We'll see what they can do. But, you know, I think many of us would fall into the group of a bit underwhelmed so far as it stands December 23rd.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we do have a lot more to cover on the portal. We do have a couple of starred things. We appreciate everybody. We do have a couple of super chats, but we do want to, looks like TJ, you starred this one, which is a great question. Hey, do you guys have a Patreon?
We do not have a Patreon, but what we do have is memberships. And so if you want, or if you can, on the bottom right by the chat, there's that $sign. You could go there. You can become a member. We do monthly hangouts. You also, if you become a member of the Leaders and Best, you will get the emojis. You will have the icon next to your name. You'll be able to have all the fun everybody in the community is able to have. And then anything that's the 2nd tier or higher, you will be a part of the monthly hangout and our new show that we're bringing every month. I believe it's the first Wednesday of every month, the Michigan Avengers show, where it's going to be myself, John, Maze Madman, Johnny Olden, Kinetic, and Maniac. So it'll be all 6 of us doing the damn show, talking Michigan football, giving our analysis, a bit of a roundtable. It'll be fun, man. So be on the lookout for that. Really excited for that edition for 2025.
Yeah, really excited for the Avengers Assemble monthly episode and just sharing intel, sharing insights. So another members perk that we're bringing to the table coming up here in the new year. So very excited. There's been a couple of people commenting things in chat saying, hey, can you ask my question? The only really, other than that one there, the only thing we're highlighting, guys, is super chats. So if you want your comment, your question to be on screen, you got a super chat. That's just how it is. JRM, $2. We really appreciate this. JRM, what's the words on Bryce in practice? And I'll start real quick because I did hear one little nugget. I think it was from just saying like, hey, we were helping him find his helmet for the most part. but he seemed like he looked like he looked like the number one recruit in the country from the little bit. But that's the only the only little bit I read the last couple of days. But I don't know if you've noticed anything.
There hasn't been a lot leaking from practice at all. I mean, the only thing I've heard is that he looks the part. Like I've heard, you can tell quite easily the difference between a Bryce Underwood and the other quarterbacks, right? Like it's like night and day from what I'm hearing at practice. Other than that, nothing too detailed. Just simply that Underwood looks like a number one quarterback, and I'm sure people saw the video that he just posted recently, showing off his arm. I mean, he just looks like a freak talent. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll get some more. I mean, I'll tell you right now, guys, and this is the truth. And I know we're not the only ones who are going to say this either. Michigan is on some Fort Knox shit right now. Like everything is tight, man. It's practice info's tight. Portal news is tight. It's tight. Like Michigan's operating very stealth-like right now. It's hard to get a lot of information right now. So just bear with us. I do think things will get a little bit easier as the year progresses in terms of recruiting. But portal is tough, man. I know Isaiah Hull's spoken about it. I know EJ Holland's spoken about it. I've heard a couple other people talk about how hard it is to like really get information. Another thing too is the players are actually not wanting to talk as much because they don't want to give any. They don't want to lose leverage in any negotiations right now. So a lot of things are being dealt with behind the scenes.
For sure. Mason, we also highlight YouTube member comments. So Mason's a YouTube member, and we appreciate that. So he said TJ Guy mentioned that he looks like the best QB in the country. So that's I didn't see that one, Mason. So that's obviously another great testimonial there.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. Just simply that he looks like I said, like he looks like a number one. He looks like a number one prospect is what I've heard. So any word on Grant? No, but no news is good news. The only thing I can share that, like, and we've already shared it though, it's nothing new here. Michigan's making an effort to retain him. So, and he has not declared for the draft, and him not declaring while everyone else is declaring is, in my opinion, an optimistic sign. I'll tell you right now, if we can add Kenneth Grant to this defense, we will look at the depth chart. I got the depth chart right here, guys. Mm-hmm. We will look at it. Yeah, that matters. We'll take it. So hopefully they can figure it out. That's another thing too I want to talk about. I want to talk about, I don't know, at some point we will talk about, maybe it's during the depth chart segment, but I want to talk about what I think Michigan's truly doing in terms of the approach to roster construction. And that's going to encompass recruiting, portal, and returning players. So we'll talk about all that as the show goes on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan, for that too. And we also want to thank Dean B for 3 months of membership. Thank you so much for that. I can't bring myself to pretend Mikey Keene is a Power 4 quarterback. He isn't. Play Underwood. Don't waste first team reps in camp on Keene. Well, Dean, I guess, you got to look at it this way, right? Bryce Underwood is now practicing with the team, but it's only the first couple of days. And you don't walk in day one, and it's not even spring camp yet, with all the first team reps. Obviously, Davis Warren is getting because he's going to be the starter. He's getting probably the large chunk of first team reps. And then obviously, when it comes to spring ball, it'll probably be Mikey Keene and Underwood and Davis Warren competing. Now, I don't think Davis Warren is going to win. So you'll probably see Keene and Underwood go forward in that to fall camp. But as the camps go on, the division of who gets what reps with the ones is going to change depending on who they see does a better job. And I actually trust Chip Lindsey a little more than I trusted Kirk Campbell to make some of these determinations on who gets what first team reps. So I think it could go either way. But me personally, I'd say if it were up to me, I mean, look, I like Underwood a lot. I would love it because he started in December. I'm okay with the possibility of game one for him. If he had waited till spring, or got like any later than where we are, But I don't know. But if Keene does well enough to win the job game 1, happy day. Look, that's not a bad thing either. That means he outperformed the best recruit in the country.
Yeah, and we're gonna have so we have a Fresno State guy, not a part of our network, but we are friends with Caleb. He did the preview with us earlier in the year, and we did the Fresno State preview. He's gonna come on our show, if not next week, the week after, to give us a full breakdown of Mikey Keene, and we'll break it down more. My thoughts on this with Mikey Keene, I've kind of already shared it, but like, you need Bryce Underwood to compete with another quarterback. This is that, and he's going to. He should push Underwood to be better. He should push Underwood to be better because Underwood's going to want to take that spot, right? So that's the benefit of that. There'll be plenty of reps, man. I mean, I'm not too concerned about the reps as it stands now. Remember this too. Chip Lindsey's running this quarterback room. This isn't Kirk Campbell now. So Chip Lindsey's done this with Drake May. He's done this with some top quarterbacks before. So, we got to put a little trust in Chip Lindsey. Now I get it. I get the underwhelming feeling on potentially landing on Mikey Keene, but I think we also need to realize the true quarterbacks in that room. That's not the problem. Like, would I have loved to have landed a true difference maker at that position to allow Bryce Underwood to slowly acclimate to the game? Yes. But the real hurdles for Michigan right now are filling some of these other holes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and speaking of holes, any new info on O-line targets from Earl?
Yeah, so a little bit, but I want to save it for the portal segment. I'll simply say this so I give it too much detail. One is trending elsewhere. Another one is potentially trending in the right direction. So we'll get into both those in the portal update.
Thanks for that, Earl. Elisha's here. Elisha with the 5. Skylar Bell is a gem. Elisha's on the Skylar Bell train here in the super chat, so we'll have another one here. I watched a lot of his Wisconsin and UConn film. Dude is an underrated gem, deep threat, and yards after catch wide receiver.
Yeah, I got to do a little more research on Skylar Bell. I am aware. I did watch a little highlights on him. I'll be honest. I had, because they're now gone, but I had other receivers higher on my board. And I'm not upset if Skylar Bell does decide to come to Michigan. We will have Skylar Bell update in the portal. There's some interesting information with that in terms of decision, things of that nature. But we need wide receivers. So, I mean, obviously it'll be a welcome addition. I wish we could play the highlight tape, but we can't.
Yeah. Sadly, we're limited here with YouTube, but we can play Huddle. So if there's high school film that's relevant, we will play it on here. If not, I'll point to our Twitch, our X channels, where a lot of times TJ and I will show, we'll like, I just linked to the Keene, like a minute and a half of Keene highlights on my X account. So check that out after the show. Chris Sparrow with the 5. Thoughts on Juan Castillo, the new offensive analyst who was O-line coach for UCLA before. Steve Casula to OC for the Bowl. What are the expectations? He came from high-powered Ferris State. Can we keep Alex Orji for tight end? That's like 4 questions in one, but we'll take it.
All right. So thoughts on Juan Castillo? I think it's a good addition. I mean, look, so here's what I've talked about previously. There's no limitation to analysts now, and there's no limitation to on-field coaching. I fully expect Michigan to capitalize on landing elite analysts. This is another strong analyst. This is a coach who previously worked with Harbaugh, has NFL experience, has been in the game for over 40 years. He knows a lot of ball, man. A lot of ball. And you get these types of dudes helping young coaches like Grant Newsome along the way, right? I think it's a good addition. And I think Michigan's going to do a lot more of these. I don't think it stops here. I think it's only going to – I think the analyst role at Michigan is going to be actually impressive. I'm sure we're going to hear about a lot more hires by springtime. In terms of Steve Kasula, it's OC for the Bull. What are the expectations? Here's the expectation. Sharon Moore's calling the plays. Kasula, in my opinion, is nothing more than a symbolic title. I don't think it's actually a functional title. I do think I think he'll get some prep and some learning on the job, of course, but that's as far as that'll go. Can we keep Orgy for tight end? He's already in the portal. He's already entered the portal. So it looks like not.
But he is working out with the team. And so it's not impossible.
Kids come back. It's possible.
It's not. If somebody steps up and says, I want him for a quarterback, he's out. If nobody does, there is a possibility that he stays.
I've heard some rumblings that Michigan is still talking with Tyler Morris about a return.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Absolutely. So thank you, Chris. And yeah.
Looks like John froze, so we'll keep it moving here. All right, so let's look at what do we have next. We have our next super chat. We got our boy Nick here, recruiting director. $1.99 super chat. You back, John? You're good, man. You're back. All right, brother. All right, so I'll read this one. I'll let you get to the next. So we got the $1.99 super chat from Nick. Bryce finna drag his sack over Ryan Day's face. Shit. You know what's funny? Speaking of that, you guys notice how confident and boastful this Ohio State fan base got all of a sudden because they just beat Tennessee. We essentially broke that fan base, right? And then now they get a big win over Tennessee, which they did. They did. Tennessee did not own up their end of the bargain here. We had a deal with Tennessee. The deal was if they win, we'll let them plant the flag on our territory. That was the deal. And then they could tear the goalposts down, throw it in the river. They totally did not live up to the deal. I now understand why the Alabama and the Georgia and all the other SEC teams make fun of the Tennessee fan because they appear to be like Ohio State light in many ways. And, so I get it. But it is what it is. Hopefully Ohio State gets taken care of in the next round. But, Bryce Underwood's going to definitely own that shit. And then our next super chat, John, I'll let you read it.
Elisha with the 10. Just like how John was on the Fred Moore train, and I'm not off it completely yet. I still think he's got more to show. Hopefully we get Skylar Bell because I'm on the hype train. Bro is about to show Tyler Morris what a 100-yard game looks like.
Yeah, you might be right, Elijah. And you know what? With this off now, I'll say this though. All right, so here's where I agree with you, Elijah. And this actually goes together real well. Okay, so like as we just looked at Mikey Keene's stats, right? And obviously he's actually elite in short to mid-range passing. He's actually elite, guys. Or I'm sorry, 10 yards or less, he's elite. And even short, medium range passing, he's actually quite average. He's quite okay. When you add a wide receiver like Skylar Bell, who should thrive in those under routes and those shorter, quicker routes, I could see him potentially be a 100-yard game. I think Donovan McCulley could get a 100-yard game. I think, I think there's potential for an offense to be productive. I mean, not that I think there's potential. I actually think it's freaking likely. I just would like to see a higher quality weapon added to this team. Like I need, all right. So I was talking to John and I was going to save this, but fuck it. I want everyone to think about this. When you look at our portal additions, name me one game changer. Now, have we added some dudes? And I wanted to save this, but F it. Have we added some dudes who should be productive, should have some impact?
Yeah, McCauley will have some impact probably.
McCauley, we got Metcalf, starting at safety. Mm-hmm. But who's really a game changer? So far, none.
Nobody.
And to me, and I know many of you feel similar, a bit frustrating. Now the portal's not done, and we're in on some big dogs right now. So we're going to talk about them in the portal update. But as it stands, a little frustration, especially the skill positions. But we'll get into it more.
Thanks, Elisha. JRM's back with another one. As a Penn State student, wow, and a Michigan fan, FPSU. They are a poverty program. Need them to lose to Georgia to keep the Franklin narrative going.
I love it, man. I love it. You know what? You need to be, I don't know if you are, but you need to be a part of the Counter Stallions espionage team, bro, because that sounds like some espionage shit. You and Rambo need to get the numbers, start dying. We got work to do, bro. The Michigan Manifesto is alive and well, and it sounds like you are quite qualified for this tier, my friend. So if just letting you know, if you want to upgrade, because it sounds like you're a fit.
Yeah.
You're hired, bro. You're hired.
And for those of you new to the channel, Counter Stallions Espionage tier is our highest level membership tier at $9.99, followed by those who stay will be champions at $4.99 and leaders and best at $2.99. You can join up right now, become a member, and enjoy the emojis, get your name in the ticker here, and so on and so forth.
In 2025, though, a new tier will be revealed. Be on the lookout.
It's coming, folks. Elisha is pushing back and says, "Please, no Tyler Morris."
Bro, Elijah? Are you telling me you're sick of the Tyler Morris legacy games?
Yeah, 60 yards.
No, 30. Come on.
Oh yeah, 30. Right.
3 catches for about 38.
Yeah.
All right, let's pay some respect.
Anthony McDonald, still waiting on the Underwood effect because of the offensive additions in the recruiting class and portal wise have not been what we were told to expect. Still patient, but slowly becoming disappointed. Hey, Anthony McDonald, but I'm loving it because this is exactly where I'm at. So excellent, great super chat.
Yeah, so I mean, look, this is kind of where I've been kind of hinting at, like, and to me, I feel like I know what's going on from what I know and from just reading shit. I feel like I know what's going on in terms of why are we falling short here. We've talked about it before, and this is I wanted to get into it when we do the roster breakdown, so I'll save it, I guess. But yeah, I think a lot of us have a bit of frustration here with the lack of playmakers added. Because here's the deal: okay, you want to pay for a fucking Bugatti.
Yeah.
All right, we got one. You got to get more. You got to get more supercars. You can't have a Bugatti and a Mustang GT, bro.
Right.
Okay, like that's not going to cut it. Not when you got Ferraris and Lambos and all these other cars, McLarens, and like we gotta like yes, the game is won in the trenches, but it's okay to have everything. Like I want a garage stacked with supercars.
Yeah, and we'll talk. There are a couple that I am excited about, and that we're still on for in the portal. So we'll go over some of those. Nick is speaking my language because I've talked about Kendrick Bell once or twice. Nick is very high on Kendrick Bell, who he believes will emerge as Bryce Underwood's #1 deep threat.
I don't think. All right, I don't think so next year. I think Donovan McCulley is going to get that role at the X position. I don't know who Z's going to be yet. I don't know what that Z role is yet. I mean, is it Andrew Marsh? Kendrick Bell really is an X, so I don't see him starting over McCulley. I mean, it's gonna be Nick. We got to see.
It's gonna be tough.
Could Kendrick Bell develop into that in 2 years? Maybe, but hopefully we land some bigger dogs. So we'll see. I mean, it's to be determined on that one. But you know what, Nick? You're now the leader of the Kendrick Bell fan club. You are now officially the leader of the Kendrick Bell fan club. Congratulations. Nick is holding membership meetings once a month at the strip club down in Detroit. So go meet.
There it is. So join Nick for those. I think Fred Moore. Hey, listen. New offensive coordinator. There's a new sheriff in town. He's going to find the best pieces. Maybe it's Kendrick Bell. Maybe it's Fred Moore. We'll see. But hey, Ryan Hall, thank you so much for the 50. That is awesome. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you to Johnny and to TJ.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, man. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully your holidays are great. Along with everybody else watching the show. I really appreciate you contributing to the channel, man. It means a lot to us.
Thank you, Ryan. Elisha, I feel Michigan is still very scared to just go all in on paying players. I know we have Bryce, but why would they just build a Justice League?
Well, they're trying to take a strategic approach, which we will talk about more, I promise.
Yeah.
It's not it's not that there's not money, because there's money. There's about to be a lot more money come April. But I think they're trying to be strategic with things, and I'll dive into a little bit deeper on what I mean by that a little later in the show.
Yeah, we're going to start doing the general statement of we have these segments coming up, so just stay tuned. Fanbone 30 with the 5. Why didn't Michigan pay wide receivers Derek Meadows, Deuce Robinson, or Zachariah Branch? Underwood needs wide receivers, and this is definitely something with, at least with Branch. We'll be mentioning Branch in the portal segment, but I don't know if you wanted to cover Meadows or Robinson.
So Derek Meadows, okay, he was asking a crazy number though, beyond what he is. Like, he's a good player, potentially first round talent, potentially a day 2 pick, but his number was a lot. Okay, it was beyond what he wasn't. So Meadows was a little raw coming out of high school. Okay, very talented, had the athletic profile. That's why Michigan kind of passed on that one. Deuce Robinson, I agree with you. I think Michigan should have went all in here. Now, look, he did go to where his dad was formerly, went to school. So there is that. There's the legacy factor of Florida State. But even so, Deuce Robinson's, in my opinion, the guy you go get to show, okay, we're going to get you these weapons. We're going to get you these dogs. Zachariah Branch, it's not done yet. We'll talk about it. We'll get into that in the portal update. And Marmar, the reason why I can't dive in deep on every single thing is because we have topics to get to, man. If I just got into everything now, we'd have no show.
Yeah. Yeah. And the contributions have been flowing. So we're hitting up on all these too. I did just want to highlight this. Thank you, Captain Stabbin, for a Connor Stallions espionage tier membership. Just paid for the membership a couple of days ago. Nick will be in touch for
Nick will be in contact. Nick handles all that.
But thank you for that. Elisha with the 5. Instead of getting true wide receivers, Michigan would rather grab quarterbacks that turned into wide receivers like Bell and McCauley. # Warren for slot. So here we were starting this campaign now.
Starting the movement. We'll see. I mean, look, I just feel I do feel Michigan will land. I think 2026 will be a big year for that, is what I think. I think the rushed close to 2025 and then the portal being the market being where it is right now, I just think Michigan feels it like, all right, if you look at what some of these players are getting, I know like the numbers aren't currently public, but there's rumors that the backup quarterback at Penn State is going to get about $1.5 million right now. So when you look at that, and then you look at what Bryce Underwood got, Bryce Underwood looks like a fucking steal. And I think the way Michigan's looking at this, so I guess I'll get into it a little bit here. I think Michigan feels recruiting is a cheaper investment than portal shopping. And you could truly build the team that way. It's a lot easier to build a team from your own foundation than it is plucking these overpriced players, because honestly, the market is nuts, guys. The market's nuts. Like, if the rumors are true about what Zachariah Branch is asking for, it's stupid. And just so you know, to share, what are those rumors, TJ? Those rumors are anywhere from $2 to $4 million. Guys, he only had 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. What are we doing? Yeah, okay. Granted, he's one of the fastest players in college football, runs a 10.3 300 meter. He's an incredible athlete. Incredible athlete. But damn, that's a lot of money for unproven production, man. So the portal's kind of gotten some. I think it's put Michigan in a position. We'll talk about it. I promise I'll get into it. Stick around. We'll talk about it more when we go over the roster.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's start knocking through these here. Thambone, thank you so much for the 5. Does Michigan plan on going after FSU transfer Malik Benson?
So he just entered the portal today. I've not heard anything yet.
So we don't know yet.
No idea. We'll see. I don't anticipate they're done, though. I mean, we haven't added much at wide receiver. So,
Elisha, thanks for the 5. Calling it now. If we get Skylar Bell and Haynes, our offense will borderline be elite. You don't need elite personnel to be elite. I trust Lindsey. I trust Lindsey more than I did Kurt Campbell. I'll say that.
Okay. So Elijah Bowman is officially the uncle of Skylar Bell.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding, just kidding.
This is
listen, I'm gonna do it. Listen, just for you, Elijah, I'm definitely gonna take a far more serious dive on this player. We will talk about this player. Michigan did well in the visit. We'll talk more about it. I've looked into him. I have watched film, but I'll do far more research for you, Elijah. I mean, you seem to be all in, my friend. And you know what? Since wide receiver recruiting is not going the greatest, I got time.
Kyle with the 5. Thank you for the super chat. Maybe we should get some of the DBs that Keen threw all those interceptions to play wide receiver for us. See, Kyle is bigger. He's using it's called that we call it the Michigan difference. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really what we when I went to Michigan, that's what we call it. Michigan difference. And this is what it looks like.
Yeah, dude. He's thinking outside the box. He's thinking outside the box, bro. It's genius shit, bro. Genius shit. I get it.
And we got Cliff from the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Appreciate all you guys have done for us in our channel. Looking forward to a great 2025. Cliff, who's also on our channel and does the point a minute segment.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Cliff. Obviously, shout out to you and Mac. We appreciate you guys for being a part of the channel and also all the things you do behind the scenes that nobody sees. So we appreciate that, man. And shout out to you guys. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic Christmas, man. So enjoy the holidays. Look forward to meeting up with you guys soon.
Absolutely. JRM with the 5. I've lived in state 15 years and born in Ohio. Whoa, you've been all over, man.
His application's just getting better and better. Born in Ohio, goes to Penn State, hates Penn State. He's a Michigan fan. Jesus.
Love it. Thank my dad for being a Michigan man. I've gotten assaulted for wearing Michigan hats in Happy Valley. Yeah, they don't like that there.
Those scumbags. Those scumbags.
Ryan Hall with the 2, maybe 2 transfer quarterbacks this cycle.
So I've not heard. I have seen speculation on social media that Michigan might go for another one. I've not heard that. And if they do, go get my guy Finn. All right, go get my guy Finn, add him to the quarterback room, then we're happy. But then, to be honest, you have too many cooks in the kitchen. They probably won't do that.
There it is. So now that we are officially up to date on Super Chats, and thank you so much for all the contributions. No, we're not. Wrong.
Another one. 2 more.
Love it. Our most recent Connor Stallions espionage team member has just thrown a 20 burger. Thank you, Captain Stabbin. We have a beast but unproven number 1 player in the country quarterback. With that, we can't get a top tier portal quarterback. That is killing our portal wide receiver prospects. Money talks, but these boys want receptions.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They do. And they also want to have an offense that's proven, right? So, I mean, just also want to just state, we got Captain Stabbin in the Connor Stallions espionage team and Rambo.
Oh, snap.
They fucked up, bro. Our dude, we got a team of savages in this Connor Stallions espionage team. Cannot wait. Hey, we protect the Michigan Manifesto. We appreciate you guys being a part of that. But no, it's true. I mean, until we see until some of these prospects see the tangible evidence on the field, an offense that can produce, a quarterback, we know he is, though. I mean, he will, but they need to see that. But I mean, I also think I think Michigan could overpay and get some dudes. And I think they actually should to get it rolling. Like, if you look at a professional team, right, and they're going through a rebuild, sometimes you have to pay that tax that is overpaying players to get them here. And then once you can develop a winner, then you start getting discounts. And Michigan's got to be, in my opinion, open to that. And I'm not so sure they are right
now. Thank you, Captain Stabbin. Elisha with the 10. I literally watched UConn games this year, and Skylar Bell is a problem. He reminds me of twitchier Emeka Egbuka, or Booger. Does anybody remember where Tez Johnson came from? Michigan is about to land a gem.
Tez Johnson. So you're talking about the Oregon receiver, right? No, I don't know where he came from. I'm looking it up right now, though. Oregon receiver went to Pinson, Alabama. Are you saying this kid's from Pinson? It's like Skylar Bell. Look at him doing. We're doing a scavenger hunt now. And Skylar Bell is from Bronx, New York. All right, I don't get it.
There we go.
I don't get it. Bronx, New York, Penson, Alabama. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see, man. I hope you're right. How about that? I hope Skylar Bell's that next dog, bro.
Ryan Hall has just come back around with 5.
Ryan Hall.
Yeah, Ryan's dropping
Yes.
it tonight.
Yes, for everybody.
5. Those who stay will be champions memberships to U of M Berks, Tim, not to be confused with Tim Prangley. I think it's just Tim. Seth Brenner, Andrew D, and Sean Michael. All 5 of you just got those who stay will be champions memberships. So enjoy, refresh. If you just got a gifted membership, refresh and enjoy your emojis. And then Elisha says Johnson came from Troy and was developed by Chip Lindsey.
You're right, Elijah. I'm looking at that. How about this? Let's pull it up so everybody can see.
Okay.
So, yep. So let's pull this up, John. All right. So we have Tez Johnson here. We'll pause that so YouTube doesn't get dumb. Yeah, he was definitely in Troy. Interesting. So you are saying you see Skylar Bell. You see some Tez Johnson, Skylar Bell. Okay. I will definitely take a closer look, man. I'll say this. For anyone else who's interested in learning more about Skylar Bell, there is reason to definitely put your efforts into that. Things are trending, I would say, in a good direction with Skylar Bell. But we'll get into that more in the recruiting update.
There we go. All right. So here we go. Portal talk. And we've got a lot of portal updates. The overall question to keep in mind is it time for the alarm bells yet? And we'll be answering that throughout. But we'll begin here. We did get so the son of Todd Bowles, who you may know from being the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is the 6th transfer portal commitment, 3-star recruit, and he was considered the number 15, number 15th linebacker in the portal.
Oh, you're talking about his portal ranking.
Yeah, portal.
Okay. Yep. So coming out of high school, he was a top 100 player. I mean, his tape's amazing. Actually, to be honest with you, we could play that tape. You want to pull up that tape while I talk about him, John? Troy Bowles. His huddle tape is fantastic. I mean, this kid is a damn missile. I don't know. Sometimes change of scenery does wonders for a kid. I think this is one of those. I do think if we will look at the depth chart, but I do think Jimmy Reuter and Ernest Hausman are going to be starting at linebacker next season. But I do love the idea of a Caleb Sullivan, Troy Bowles duo coming up behind them. I mean, that's just freaking elite. That's elite shit. Now, look, he did not produce at Georgia, but look, it is not easy. It's not easy because you have rooms. These rooms are stacked at these schools. Okay. Like they are just stacking 4- and 5-star players. It's hard to get playing time. At Michigan, he will definitely get more opportunity. I fully expect him to have some role next season. You'll see in the highlights right now. If you have not seen this kid's highlight tape, this dude lays dudes the fuck out.
Woo!
Dude lays dudes the F out, bro. This kid is all gas, bro. For those who don't know, his dad is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yep. He's got great DNA. He's been taught the game from obviously a young age. His dad's a former defensive coordinator. He's a head coach now.
Yep.
So he has 3 years of eligibility, guys. Like this is an excellent addition. The banner's kind of covering up the tape there, but excellent addition, boys. I mean, I'm excited about it. This is a good get. Like right here, boom, fuck your face, bro. Like screw you. Like get out of my face. I'm breaking you. He plays with that mentality. So now him and Cole Sullivan, bro. All Big Ten level players in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited about this edition, man.
Yeah. I think sometimes you run across somebody that they've just been underranked, and because they haven't gotten their opportunities or whatever the case may be. But this tape tells me this guy's a dog.
Yeah, and that's the thing, John. So here's what's interesting about the portal. Again, it's not an exact science. Coming out of high school, he's a top 80 player. Okay. highly regarded in the nation. Georgia picks him up. We all know Georgia's known for that. He comes out of the portal because there's a hell of a depth chart ahead of him. And now he's ranked 3-star, 115 or whatever the hell he's ranked. Like, whatever. It's just because he didn't get playing time, man. He didn't get playing time. He didn't get the opportunity. There's guys ahead of him, guys going to the NFL, guys going to the NFL who are playing ahead of, like, it's tough when you go to a loaded room. It's tough to get playing time. So he's going to get a better opportunity at Michigan. We'll see what he can do.
Yep, definitely exciting, and hopefully gets a chance to make an impact early. So we've got here some kind of rundowns of some of the players. Justice Haynes is one that I was very interested in particular, because I believe that it's down to just Michigan and one other school primarily. So let's what's kind of the latest on Haynes and some of these.
So Justice Haynes visited this weekend, was at the basketball game with a bunch of recruits. Bryce Under was there. You know, obviously all the coaches. I'm sure people saw all the sneak, the little pictures everyone was taking at the ball game. It was actually fun this weekend, man. We're a bunch of sickos, by the way. Anyone who follows me on social media, we're all trying to find all these pictures and, oh, what player is that? Like, by the way, I enjoy the hell out of everyone like tagging me and like, you know, oh, this guy's following this guy, or like, we're all trying to like decipher these puzzles on the social media. It's fun. I appreciate you guys. Good times. So he visited this weekend. It is down to, John, Michigan and South Carolina. Okay. And Michigan feels optimistic right now. Michigan feels like it is in a strong position, but let me also add here, this is 100. Now, I almost feel bad saying this, but we're just going to say it how it is. This is a NIL situation right now, and South Carolina is coming to play ball. So we're going to find out if Michigan has what it takes. Okay. This is going to be a recruitment where we're going to know if Michigan is willing to play ball. And now we know Michigan plays ball, but like, how often are you going to get up and play a fucking ball? Because this is going to be one of those recruitments where you're going to have to play ball. And South Carolina, per South Carolina insiders, South Carolina has a heavy offer. So let's see what the boys can do. Michigan is also looking to be aggressive here. So we'll find out. You know, we'll find out what the end result is on that. So I mean, look, from my understanding, Michigan feels optimistic. So if Michigan feels optimistic, we just had a strong visit. I know this is one of the players, and we're going to talk about some more here, where Michigan's willing to be aggressive. So let's see how aggressive they get.
Yeah, you got to have a couple of these.
Yeah.
You know, you got to try. There are some, I understand that they don't want to spend a ton on, but in this case, you've got an opportunity here to get some players who could be lights out for your offense. When in an offense in 2024 that was 128th, 129th in the country, you gotta hit on some of these big players.
Yes, and the next big player we're going to talk about is Zachariah Branch, the one we've already talked about. He's asking for a lot of money. The reason why this is so quiet is because this is one of those recruitments that I was kind of telling you guys about earlier, where players are staying quiet, not to hurt leverage. And Michigan is still in contact with Zachariah Branch. They are working to try and get him to visit. So we'll see if they're able to pull that off. Obviously, that matters. If we are able to get Zachariah Branch to visit, then obviously that'll be the tell that things are trending at least in a good direction. There is a lot of belief that Zachariah Branch might end up at Georgia. But see, then there's the argument, well, Zachariah Branch has a deal with Jordan, and Georgia's not a Jordan school. So he might go to Florida, or I believe the other school was Oklahoma. So those are both Jordan brand schools. We're a Jordan brand school. It's interesting. We're gonna have to kind of play this one out. We'll find out. But this is definitely one of those recruitments that are very quiet, and it's intentional. There's also a reason why this is dragging out. For someone who entered the portal with a no contact tag, the reason why he's not gone anywhere is because negotiations are occurring right now. So we'll see where that goes with Zachariah Branch. They went into that portal to play ball, okay, like to play the game. You feel what I'm saying? So we'll see how that one goes. The next one on our list is
Yeah.
Elijah's
favorite.
the leader of the Scholar Bell fan club. No question. Michigan just had him on campus this weekend for a visit. Michigan is looking good here. Okay. Michigan is looking good here. He's a 6-foot wide receiver, fairly productive, 700 yards at Connecticut. But here's the thing about this. And Elijah probably already knows everything I'm going to say. Maybe not. But he's not looking to make a decision until after his bowl game. And he also wants to take a few more visits because he's only been to Michigan. He hasn't been anywhere else. Michigan was his first visit. So his bowl game is December 28th. Now, Michigan is going to try and not have him take additional visits. So we'll see what the boys can do, but he will be waiting till his bowl game. That's the plan as it stands right now. So we'll see where that goes. If we get Scholar Bell, we'll throw a party for Elijah because I'm sure he'll be happy.
Definitely want to do that. And then I'll intro Max Claire real quick because I heard, TJ, that that team down south, those bastards down south, might be making a play here.
Well, they already did. So Max Claire has committed to Ohio State, and the reason why I left him in here is to, one, give you guys an update. And for two, to be like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Because this is the type of player you need to land.
Yeah,
this is a different
picked Ohio. Yep.
Yeah, he picked Ohio about an hour ago or whatever. But I left it in here because it's like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Michigan needs to get Justice Haynes. They need to get Max Claire. They need to get Josh Thompson, which we're going to talk about. They're not going to get Josh Thompson either, by the way. We're going to talk about that. Falele Famo, or however pronounce his name. I'll figure if he commits to Michigan, I promise I'll learn it. We need to land these guys. These dudes are difference makers. These dudes are impact players. These are the type of players who take your roster from not a playoff contender to a playoff contender. I want the playoffs, just like everybody else. And like, there was somebody's comment earlier, and we didn't cover it, John, but I did start. It's a TJ. You're always so negative. No, I am not fucking negative. I'm just objective and critical of my team. I want this team. My standard for this team is to be a playoff contender every year. 12 teams get in the playoffs. To not get in the playoffs is unacceptable. We already just went 7-5. There's no reason with the resources and the brand and the academics and the program blue blood history, we should not be a yearly annual playoff contender, if not a playoff team. Okay. Now listen, we still can. And I'm simply giving you, and this is one thing I want to clarify. And I know we're talking about recruiting. Guys, I give you present analysis. I give you the analysis on December 23rd at 9:06. This movie is not done. And as we gain data, as players come to the roster, we will evolve our position. But as it stands, it's a frustrating situation for a lot of Michigan fans, myself included. But again, there's still time on the clock. The game's not over. But I'm just giving you guys the read on everything and where it stands. That's all I'm doing. So to get back to the recruiting here, Max Claire is a tight end, the number one tight end in the portal. We should have landed. We should have landed this dude. Now, I know he's from the state of Ohio. But guys, you can't have all these qualifiers for every freaking player. There's a reason why other schools are landing these dudes. It's because they're doing more. You got to step up, guys. So I have a listen, business is what I've done, since I graduated college. The reality is this. When you have a market, you have to adapt to that market. Period. We saw how long it took Michigan to adapt, and now Michigan started adapting this year, especially. Well, now you got to understand what is known as market demand. And market demand is these players are a bit more costly than I think you anticipated going into this portal. You got to step up. You got to step up. So we'll see. We'll see if the boys can counter. We'll see if the boys can finish. We'll see what they can do. The next player we're going to talk about is Josh Thompson. Okay. Currently trending in LSU. This is the number 2 offensive guard in Big Ten, ranked by Pro Football Focus. Northwestern, former Michigan, former player from the state of Michigan. LSU, boys. LSU. So this is another one that sucks. Because it's like, look, we need a left guard. I don't know who my left guard is. And then if you say, well, Why don't we move Giovanni Alhadi to left guard? Okay, then who's my right guard? You know what I mean? Like, these are holes on this roster. Who is protecting Mikey Keene and who's protecting Underwood? Because right now I see 3 holes on this offensive line. I see a right tackle hole, I see a left guard, and a left tackle hole. You got to land these dudes. And let's talk about filling some damn holes, John. We got Falele Fa'amo, something like that. Someone will correct me. I'm sure Kyoki's having a good old time laughing at me right now.
Fa'alele Fa'amue.
I was close.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm almost there. We'll figure. Hey,
Thanks,
he commits.
Francis.
I promise I'll learn.
Francis got us for us.
I'll figure it out. But listen, this is how you fill those holes. This is so from my understanding, he played right tackle at Washington State. So he would be your Evan Link replacement. Okay. He would fill in for Evan Link. So then it's like, okay, well, I got a left guard and a left tackle problem. But here's some truth. And we'll get into the depth chart. Maybe Andrew Sprague's ready to be your left tackle. I mean, he's a mountain. He's a mountain. Maybe he is. Maybe Nathan Afobe's that guy. We'll find out, but I'm just giving you the analysis of the current roster. It looks to me like we have some holes to fill. Let's see what the boys can do. They can always get somebody in the portal too. Just because they're not in the portal yet doesn't mean they won't be, right? This is the portal. It's still open. Things can happen. Let's talk about our next player here, and that is defensive tackle Keanu Tanavasa. So he just entered the portal. Michigan is in contact with him. The 2 teams who are in this race, and we're going to love this one. These sons of bitches seem to be in every single defensive line recruitment. It is none other than USC, bro. Again. They were Jakeem Stewart, Jakeem Stewart, whatever. The last like 2 fucking Thanos, dude. I'm over it, bro. USC has been cleaning up on defensive line recruiting because honestly, they are very aggressive right here in terms of paying for trench play. Because here's the reality: Lincoln Riley's seat's getting real hot, and they have got to start winning the trench battles because they've been getting their ass kicked. The Big Ten has exposed USC, and USC is trying to fill that problem, or is trying to solve that problem, and they're doing it by ponying up the money. So we'll see what they can do. But Michigan's in on it. It's between Michigan and USC. He just entered the portal, so another defensive tackle. We'll see what the boys can do here. The next player we're going to talk about is Emmanuel Carnley. This is the cornerback from Arizona, 6'3" corner. He also visited this weekend, was at the basketball game. He is looking, this is interesting, guys. We're going to know in 2 days. We're going to know in 2 days where he goes. He's looking to have a Christmas announcement. So let's be on the lookout. Now here's the word though. Michigan feels really good coming out of the weekend. Okay, so Michigan feels good coming out of the weekend. We'll see. Now, if you add Emmanuel Carnley, in my opinion, he's going to be your number 2 corner opposite of Jair Hill. So this is going to be your other starter. So then your defensive backfield is going to be Jair Hill, TJ Metcalf, Rod Moore, and Emmanuel Carnley. Okay, and then you're going to have potentially, and I think likely, Zeke Berry as your nickel. We'll see. Maybe he'll battle Brandon Hillman as well. I know Mason Curtis started making some noise too, but that's what spring ball is about. We'll figure out how that goes and camp battles. The next player we're going to talk about is because kickers matter, John.
Yeah, punting is winning, right?
Yeah, and we ask ourselves, what are we going to do at punter? What are we going to do at punter? And shout out
I
Garrison.
ask myself that every day, all day, every day. What are we going to do at punter?
All right,
is my number 1 thought.
Hey, bro, listen. And I know Garrison's here, so he'll appreciate it. If you don't invest in kickers, you lose football games, right? Am I right, Garrison? You know what I'm talking about, buddy. You know what I'm talking about. I love my friend. Yeah, so Utah State punter Ryan Marks is currently in conversations with Michigan. We'll see where it goes. Michigan's always landed, and thankfully, always landed some quality-ass kickers or punters from the portal. I've not done a deep dive, but here's what I do know. He is averaging 42.3 yards per punt. Pretty solid. We'll see what the boys can do there. And that's kind of where we are right now in the portal, man. And what sucks about it, to give my analysis on where things are, we have top talents coming off the board, John. Now, that does mean there's still money to be had, right? Like the money's not spent. It's got to go somewhere. So, hey, maybe that makes the push for Kenneth Grant a little bit stronger. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. So we'll see what the boys can do. I don't know how you feel about it, John, but it would be nice to at least get some more fireworks, when it comes to the portal. But it's not done yet. We're going to let them keep working. And if they listen, and here's some truth though, too. If you land Justice Haynes, go get your boy Skylar Bell for Elijah. And then you get Falele Famo. And then Emmanuel Carnley. All right, that's solid. And here's another thing, too, I want people to remember, okay? The spring portal.
Yeah.
The spring portal is still a thing. Now, I know it's not as rich as December, but you can still get quality players. And you can still get players in the portal. So we will have to wait for this movie to unfold. There is some good players on our board. Let's see what the boys can do. And to our guy, Jason here, fellas, also it's hard to get in with Michigan with admissions. He's not wrong.
Yep.
This is a true hurdle.
Kaoki said that too. Above.
It is. It's true. No, it's true. You're not wrong. And that's why you see Michigan take a lot of these portal guys with 3 years of eligibility, because those credits get in a lot easier. Once you get that 60 credit threshold, it is really hard to get these kids in, because kids don't want to have kids do not want to have their credits not qualify, because they went to school, and they don't want to lose it. You're muted, buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Kaoki said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaoki said the same thing about that.
So that's where we are, boys. Yep. So keep looks like John's having technical issues again. All right. So just listen, we'll keep our ear to the ground. We'll keep you guys updated. Obviously, we are not going to have another show. Our next show is going to be the post game. But if anything crazy happens, I might go live if necessary. But we also have all of your recruiting, all the player analysis from here all the way to next games or next show, which will be our post game show for the Relia Quest Bowl. But yeah, we'll see what the boys can do here, man. A lot of work to be had. There is about a week left in the portal until it closes. Now, players can still commit, and any players currently in the playoffs have 5 days to enter the portal. So there's going to be a lot of talent still entering the portal here. So, again, we'll see how this movie unfolds.
Absolutely. So we got a bunch of super chats. Keegan, Merry Christmas to all my Michigan football brothers. Believe that good things are coming.
I believe, Keegan. I believe. Hey, listen, I'll say this. We're not done. And listen, with loss comes reflection. Michigan will figure it out. I believe in Michigan. I believe Michigan will eventually get it all together.
Ryan Hall has dropped another 25 for another 5. Those who stay will be champions. Nate Jordan, Taco, David Cox, Jeremy, and Nicholas Sekenga. All 5 of you just got those who stay will be champions memberships. So thank you, Ryan, for doing it again.
Yeah, thank you, and enjoy. Welcome to the community, everybody. And again, Ryan is Santa Claus tonight. You get a membership. You get gifts for everybody.
There it is. And Captain Stabbin's back, which we got to get that on a T-shirt. Captain Stabbin's back.
I love it. I love it.
I grew up in Springfield, Ohio. My cousin quarterbacked for Ohio State. I am highly hated. Lol. These 4 years have been great. We need to keep our foot on the effing gas. Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we definitely need to. There's no reason to let up, and there's no reason to not solidify yourself as one of the top 5 teams in the nation. No reason not to. You have one of the best quarterbacks to come out of high school since Trevor Lawrence. No reason to not load up this roster. None. Your window is now.
Facts. Chris Sparrow with the 2. David Gusta news. Also Kamari House news.
Yeah, okay. So Kamari House has canceled his visit to Michigan after Michigan got Troy Bowles. Kamari House has canceled because that roster spot is now taken. In terms of David Gusta, Michigan's still in on that, and that's what I want. David Gusta's another one, guys. If we were to land David Gusta, this is one of the top. I believe he's the number 6th in terms of defensive tackle rankings, the 6th ranked run stopping defensive tackle in college football. Excellent player. Would love to get David Gusta.
Doreen has been a member. She is a Buckeye. folks. Been a member for 5 months. Merry Christmas to all the Wolverines and Go Bucks. There are reasonable Buckeyes out there who support Michigan Wolverines Live, and Doreen is up there at the top, and I appreciate you.
Shit, Doreen's feeling real good after this weekend, man.
Yeah.
She had a hell of a weekend, man.
That is very true. Very true. Merry Christmas, Doreen. I'm not going to say the other thing, but I will say Merry Christmas and go blue. Kyle Maldonado, Michigan could be in talks with agents for players still in the playoffs.
100%.
This is the other piece. Absolutely.
100%. And I feel they are. Okay, so there's no doubt. There's no doubt that because those players, there's no doubt. So we're gonna have to see on that one. Those players once through the portal, they have a 5-day window after their player is after their team is eliminated from the playoffs.
Absolutely. So state of the roster, and I know we've got still a couple more topics and then the Alabama preview, but we'll keep it rolling here. So the state of the roster, bowl and 2025. So TJ, I did just want to hit that it does seem like Jordan Marshall. Just again, this could be maybe Kalel Mullings does wind up playing a little bit. I don't know if it's official that he's out, but it does seem like Jordan Marshall might be getting the RB1, starting running back nod in the ReliaQuest Bowl. So what do you think we should be looking at for that? And then obviously as we look to 2025.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my depth chart here, John. But in terms of, let's hit on the bowl thing first. I mean, look, this is Ben Hall's, Micah Kapana, and Jordan Marshall's opportunity to get some run here. It's fine. Like this bowl game, it's a little frustrating because obviously we're not going to be at full attack, but now the young guys get to show what they have to offer to the team. And can they show that they are going to be players we can depend on in the future? Now, this one game isn't going to determine that. I'm trying to adjust my zoom here. Hold up. But if we look at the roster here, I got to adjust it. Hold on. What the hell?
Okay. You had it.
It's fidgety. All right. So here's where we kind of are. I'm going to shorten this. Okay. So we look at this roster, John. This is what I wanted to kind of talk about. For those who haven't seen this yet, the yellow is our holes on the roster right now. The blue are our incoming freshmen. This is not a finished or a polished depth chart, but it is an early look at 2025. And when we look at this roster and we look at what Michigan is doing in terms of the portal acquisitions, in my opinion, and this goes to, what we're seeing is Michigan has financial capacity, John, but what they're not willing to do is burn their cap, essentially, on overspending for players who have not proven production. I believe what Michigan's really trying to do this is my theory. This is my working hypothesis. Let's go with that. My working hypothesis is this, John. I think Michigan's going to be trying to build the roster simply through recruiting with some small supplemental additions through the portal, but they are not going to bet the house on any one player unless it is more of a proven guy. Because if you look at some of the players, although Max Clare would actually fit that bill, and they did not do it. But then you would argue, well, the tight end room is one of our strongest rooms. Do we really need to go all in there? No, I guess not. But to be honest, if you want to be truly elite, you got to make these kind of swings. If you want to be truly elite, I mean, if you look at what some of these programs are doing, like Oregon, they're on some effort shit. And the reality is that's your competition, not only in your conference, but also for the national championship. So, Michigan has work to do here. Now, again, you add KG here at nose tackle, right? Let's hypothetically say, oh, KG's added. Okay. I mean, that's a nice front seven. Now we need to figure out who's our close end. Is it going to be Cam Brandt? Could it be Augusta? Are we going to move? If we add David Gusta, we're going to add David Gusta there. Or are we going to move one of these other defensive tackles? I mean, we literally do have a surplus. I think Damon Payne could potentially move to the close end role, right? Mm-hmm. Or even Rayshawn Benny could play that role. Rayshawn Benny has played that role, actually. Right. Rayshawn Benny has played this like 4-tech role, that this hybrid role that Chris Jenkins used to play. So like there's a lot of things that could go on here. You add Emmanuel Carnley at cornerback 2. You could add him here. It's stuff like that. But right now, as the roster stands, John, there appears to be some holes. And when you're investing in Mikey Keene and you're investing in Bryce Underwood, you do not want to trot out a roster that has these limitations. Because to be honest, especially on the offensive line, because if you do that, John, that's a dangerous game, in my opinion. So I just think Michigan's taking they're attempting to try and have a long-term sustainable approach through recruiting and retaining of its own players. Okay. But at the same time, John, you have to spend a little bit. And I think what Sean McGee has done, I'm assuming here, but I think Sean McGee has miscalculated the market for the portal. And I think we're being outspent. And I think, and here's what I do know, and I'm not assuming. What I do know is Sean McGee has a price slot, a range that he's willing to pay. He has an NFL model. So essentially what Sean McGee's using is an NFL model to try and determine the value of a player based on experience, position, and fit. Okay. And I believe now this is my assumption. I believe he has miscalculated the market. And that's why we're missing on these targets. And I'm hoping some correction is had with some of these final targets like Justice Haynes and Falele Fa'amo. Players like that. You got to land these dudes. Because as I spoke about earlier in the show, guys, if you look at our transfer portal haul, okay, we do not have one game-changing player added to this roster. And when you are losing potentially 4 first-round picks, Josiah Stewart, who could be a day 2 draft pick or higher, plus a few additional players, like there's going to be a talent gap that we need to fill. This defense, as good as it was, although it struggled early in the year, but as good as it got at the end of the year, we're losing our top dudes. We're losing our top stack guy. We're losing our 2 defensive tackles, maybe 1. We are losing Will Johnson, although we appear to have managed that pretty well, especially against Ohio State. That said, we cannot settle. And that's the state of the 2025 roster. Again, this is a movie. It's not a finished movie. It's still a work in progress. But in my opinion, there's a lot of holes on this Excel sheet. And some people might be looking at this Jordan Marshall right here. Well, why is this yellow? The reason why I have that yellow is because our running back room only has 36 carries of experience. That's dangerous, man. You cannot, in my opinion, you cannot go into a season with a bunch of unproven players. Now, you do need to allow for your players to fight and battle in camp, and may the best man win, right? But at the same time, you cannot go into the season hoping and wishing players develop, because we did that this year. And how did it turn out? How did it turn out for Davis Warren? How did it turn out for Alex Orji? How did it turn out for Jack Tuttle? How did it turn out for Evan Link?
Yeah.
Like
and with Ty Haywood trending a little bit more Texas Tech's direction, well, you kind of have to hit on Fa'amu, or else you're going to be putting, I think Babalola is probably going to be starting as a true freshman, which is
will start. As it stands, I have
either way. Either way, I don't love it. Right.
Yeah, right. So it's not ideal.
No. Ideal. There's some positions like the Z wide receiver where if Andrew Marsh gets that, that's look, he's the lights out talent at that position. We saw that with Ohio State with Smith this season. Like, you can have a lights out player play a receiver position, but some of these. So I think you got to hit on Haynes. I think Haynes is a near must.
I agree
to shore up that starting running back, or at the very least, Jordan Marshall and the others, can have that because even if there's 2 that are kind of in that 1A, 1B, okay, well, you need to have somebody as a relief, because if let's say it's Marshall, well, Haynes can be that relief where, when Marshall needs a rest, needs a breather, he can come in. Obviously, you got Ben Hall and Micah Kopina, who I still say look out for Micah Coppin, friend of the show. But you know, you're going to have that combo in that room. So I think you got to go for it in the portal and hit some of these that we talked about earlier.
If Michigan was to land Justice Haynes, I believe Justice Haynes would be pushing for top 3, top 5 running back in the Big Ten, potentially more. But the reason why I'm hesitant to go with more is because I need to see this offensive line. I need to see some of these holes filled. Like, to have 3 question marks on your offensive line, this is not the position group to F around with. This is not like, you know, you see teams overspend for skill positions, but their offensive line sucks. And I know Sharon has confidence in his coaching ability, but so did Kirk Campbell, man. You know, like, I just need a little more, you know, talent upgrade here. We'll see what the boys can do, though. So that's where we are for 2025. This is a fluid depth chart. We will add, we may subtract, we'll move players up and down. It's not a finished product. We will keep working on it, but I just wanted to give you guys some form of a visual so you guys can get an idea on a macro level of what this roster is currently looking at and what I'm looking at when I give my analysis to you guys, and why, you know, maybe there might be some of you who may not agree with me, which it's okay. We do have a call-in show. We can always debate, guys. But I'm looking at this on a total level, where this roster stands. And that's why I have some of the positions I have on some of these topics and where the roster stands. So I'm not being negative. I'm just being as honest as I can from my perspective on what I'm looking at.
Yep. So more to come on the roster. We're going to be talking about this all through Jan, Feb, you know, way too early depth chart, et cetera, et cetera. But start thinking about this, y'all, because, you know, we gotta improve on what we saw this year.
To Keegan's point, Andrew Marsh was at the Z position on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was on there. I would like him to be
right on the very at the end of the right on the right-hand side there. Yeah.
See, the issue is when you move the Excel sheet, it adjusts to the monitor.
Yeah.
So, you know, the zooming, it's a little touchy. We'll work on it.
So in just a few minutes, get yourself ready, because Jackson Johnson's about to come in, and we're going to talk Alabama football in a sec here. But we do want to clarify and update the stance on Jaden Davis throwing motion based on a little bit of additional film we've seen since last time.
That's right. So if you can play, do you have that film ready, John?
I do not.
Oh shit, we need it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. So as we talked about this, we definitely talked about the member hangout, and then we talked about the next day. We talked about the next day on the Tuesday show. I think this was last week. Okay, so let's see if I can find it.
I think I found it. Hold on.
Yeah, so I was critical of the throwing motion of Jaden Davis. Because I think this actually, I don't know.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, let me know if you see it. I was critical of the Jaden. Yeah, here it is right here. So that throwing motion looks far better than the tape we originally saw. And what tape some people might be asking is, well, some players who have been entered the portal, they have practice film that they are releasing to the public so this way they can get some attention, and they're trying to get seen by other coaches. And we have looked at some of this practice film. We've looked at some of these other players, and what I am aware of and what we saw on the tape is that Michigan has completely deconstructed Jaden Davis's throwing motion. And I was critical because what I said the way this looks, because one thing we did not have was what was the date of that film. Now that film could have been from August. It could have been from July. We don't know when the date was, right? So what I said was I would be surprised if Jaden Davis ever has a contribution at Michigan. And I also said, I don't even think, looking at his film now, or looking at his film previously that was released, the practice film, if he would even have a solid college career, because it was busted. That throwing motion was broke. I mean, they completely tore it down. Now, looking at that one rep, because that's all we have. And let's be honest, guys, it's the off season. We don't got shit else to do. So we dissect this type of stuff. it looks far better. Now, it doesn't look perfect, but it looks definitely improved. It looks like a lot of progress has been made. Now, the one issue with that clip is the angle is poor because we don't truly get to see the true throwing motion. But even so, it looks definitely better. The practice film we were looking at before, it was like, I don't know. It was like if anyone saw Markelle Fultz, he went through that the point guard who was with the Philadelphia 76ers, went through the shoulder surgery. His freaking free throw had a hitch. It was like busted. It's very similar to what Jaden Davis was going through, but he appears to have overcome some of those hurdles, and it does look like a better throw. Now, I will retract saying I don't think he will have. I will retract saying I don't think that he will be a quality college quarterback. And let me also just qualify this. I was high on Jaden Davis coming out of high school. Okay, so I'm not an anti Jaden Davis guy. I'm actually pro Jaden Davis. But I also want to say this is why his family wanted him to have this year to develop and get his throwing motion, his mechanics down. He was not ready this year, but it appears again through these highlight tapes. This was practice, and just so you know, that clip was from the practices for the bowl game. So, it looks like Jaden Davis has progressed. Now, I will still stand by. I do not think Jaden Davis has a role. And I root for the kid. Prove me wrong. But I just looking at Mikey Keene, looking at Underwood, I do not anticipate Jaden Davis will overcome those two on the depth chart. That is my position on that. I don't think I'm crazy.
He could overcome Davis Warren.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. But even so, I hope he just keeps working and we'll see what he can do. Crazier things have happened. I mean, we've seen literally let me look at Stetson Bennett at Georgia, bro. I think the kid was like a walk-on. He got casted off, came back, won a national title. Listen, crazy things happen in college. You just got to keep working. So I just wanted to clarify my position on that because I did see improvement in his throwing motion, and I just wanted to give him some credit because it looks like he has definitely progressed in that area.
There it is. I think Jaden.
My bad.
Yeah, Jaden. Look, I was a huge Jaden Davis supporter coming into this. When he was announced and he committed, we literally we had a breaking news live stream on the main Voice of College Football channel and on Michigan's channel, and Mark greenlit that, and we did that live with everybody. It was a big one, and look, I mean, I was excited, but yeah, what we saw in the practice film, not great. What we saw here, a very small sample size of an improvement. But what I will say, Chip Lindsey is now here. Chip Lindsey knows what he's doing. If anybody can get things right here, I think it's him. So more to come. But yeah, I think he's probably QB3. Is going to be my guess. I think he'll probably wind up by end of next season going up to QB3. It would be my prediction. Captain Stabbin, my wife is getting checking account notifications. Gotta go. Merry Christmas, all. Merry Christmas, Captain Stabbin.
Thank you, Captain Stabbin. Appreciate it. Hey, man, just remember, you got to turn off the notifications, man. Come on, you got to learn, the tricks of the trade here. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, shout out to you. Appreciate you. Have a excellent Merry Christmas to you and your family, man.
Absolutely. Chris Sparrow. Important question. Who wears the cutoff sweatshirt better?
Oh, it's easy.
Biff or Belichick?
It's Biff. It's Biff. It's not even a question, in my opinion. I know Belichick, we'll see what he does in North Carolina, but Biff is like Biff is an interesting ass dude, bro. I forgot, I think he was like what? He was like worked for some equity firm or whatever, or was in like stocks or something crazy, self-made rich dude, but just loves football, man. Just loves football and rather do that, and he's an interesting individual. I love his style. I like, I know John, you don't like Wink Martindale sunglasses. I love that shit. I love that shit.
I like it more now. I like it more now.
Do you?
Yeah, now that he's now after Ohio State. The thing is when you're winning, then I can change my tune a little bit. That's how it goes.
Fair enough. I get it.
I mean, I like Biff a lot, and Biff was able to get some really quality, talented players to transfer to Charlotte. Let's just emphasize that. So that's not something that any coach can do. So hope let's see him back next year and join the staff once again, and we'll see how it goes. Detroit Kyle's back, dropping the 10. Fellas, happy holidays. Finally got back to alive. Detroit needs more mechanics, man. These hours killing me, but go blue. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. Well, you have a lot of show to enjoy later.
Yep. Shout out Detroit Kyle. Appreciate you, bro, watching the show. I know, I've been talking with him a little bit. He's like, man, I just haven't been able to watch anything live. I'm working all these overtime hours. So, hey, glad you can join us, man. Have a excellent Merry Christmas, bro, and enjoy the holidays with you and your family, bro.
Absolutely. Without further ado, the moment that you've been waiting for is, of course, big friend of the network, our marketing director / host of the Alabama at the Voice of College Football, multiple shows. We were just on his show a few hours ago. Now Jackson's here joining us. Hey, Jackson.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Long time no see, right?
I know, right? I see. Santa dyed his beard a little bit tonight.
Hey, man, I'm just a helper. I do the groundwork for Santa. I make sure everything's good so he can come in safely. That's all. I'm just here to help support Santa Claus on his journey.
There you go, man. Nice. Man, it's a great night tonight. Just while I was waiting, making sure I was getting some work done. Little update. Packers are smacking the Saints off the field 21-0.
No surprise. Yep. Saints are garbage.
I don't know which is worse, the Saints getting smacked off the face of the earth, or nobody on Final Jeopardy figuring out that the Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since before Neil Armstrong.
Well, they're bookworms, bro. They're bookworms. They don't watch sports. Come on, Jack. Not everybody's an encyclopedia like you, bro. Okay?
People should know that about the Jets, but oh well.
Well, Jackson, we are here now, and it's time for a rematch of it's the Jalen Milroe revenge game, the ReliaQuest Bowl. Alabama favored by 10.5 against Michigan, December 31st, New Year's Eve at noon Eastern on ESPN, and then we will all have a. I don't know if you've got one cooked up, but we will have a post-game call-in show after the game. So very exciting.
Yeah, I've been like, that's perfect time to call-in show because might as well.
Absolutely. So I guess initial thoughts of the matchup and kind of the gravity of it or lack thereof, with some of your opt-outs, opt-ins. What was your reaction when you heard that there was going to be an Alabama-Michigan rematch in the ReliaQuest?
Well, I figured it was like a good consolation prize. I mean, we're not in the playoffs, but hey, we get a shot at revenge. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, if I were Caleb DeBoer, I would be hammering it through to my guys. Just let them know, hey, you got a shot to end the year with a bang by getting revenge against Michigan. It's like you got to remember how you felt at the end of the Rose Bowl. I mean, because I know a lot of people are sad about it, but it's like you really shouldn't be. The thing I'm sad about is we've never played in Ann Arbor or Tuscaloosa for this game, but maybe that'll change in the future.
Well, they want to do that Big Ten SEC challenge. You never know, man.
Wait and see.
But look, we beat you in the Rose Bowl. We made you retire your coach. So I'm sure, there's a little, you guys are feeling some kind of way about it. Jalen Milroe was playing in this game. We have a lot of guys who are not playing in this game. So it's going to be interesting. It's a great opportunity for Sharon Moore to get the next group of guys ready to battle. We get to see these younger players. Again, Jordan Marshall, we talked about it. Defensive line, Rayshon Benny taking a bigger position. Who's going to play nose tackle? I'm not sure. Maybe Ike Awana. We'll see what they do there, but you know, and we already saw. I mean, shoot, Zeke Berry looked pretty damn good at on the outside corner. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how Michigan steps up to this. You know, like we talked about on your show, John, or I'm sorry, Jackson. The juice for this game, this blue blood power matchup, is not there, and it's unfortunate. You know, like because this game should be like, I mean, you know, it should be something, you know, but like both teams are going through a year where it was a bit disappointing. Neither team met expectations, right? But now you get this final matchup, this historic matchup that will go down on the record books, that will be played. The result of this game, you know how they do it. They're going to show the 2024 ReliaQuest Bowl. They're going to show the damn highlights once we play you guys again in the playoffs and beat you for another natty. They're going to play those highlights again, dude. And so hopefully they can pull it out. I'll tell you what, John, if they can pull it out, that'd be a great year to bring on the new year, or a great game, or great time to bring on the new year.
Hey, anything's possible. You know, Michigan's going to have people sitting out. Alabama's going to have people sitting out. But Jalen Milroe playing, that's big. And we also can't forget that Kalen DeBoer coached against Michigan in the national championship game. So we actually have two playoff rematches sandwiched into one, if you really think about it, with the Washington situation. And he had very good Washington offense, Joe Moore O-line that year, NFL quarterback, NFL wide receivers. So he wants to win this game too. And so I think it's a big impact. But as far as kind of some of the key matchups on offense and defense, some of the key players maybe to look out for both of you. So I think so why don't we begin with Milroe himself? 3,300 yards in the season. He had 35 touchdowns. 20 of those were rushing touchdowns. Jackson, what does Milroe being in this game mean? And maybe some of the other players you want us to keep in mind or pay attention to.
Well, I mean, we're happy to see him playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I think it's great, but whether he's going to return for 2025 or if he's going to go to the draft, I'm glad he's finishing out the rest of the season. I'm glad he's playing in the bowl game. I mean, he could have just been like, you know what? I'm going to sit and chill, let Ty Simpson just kind of take over the town. I'll sit and chill, wait for the draft, make sure I'm okay. Bam. But the fact they didn't, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad to see it for one more game. Although I'm curious about the quarterback situation for 2025, whether we'll go with Simpson or Russell. That I'm just waiting it out for the Russell era, but I want to finish it out with Milroe.
Got it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's nice to see a player close out his career how they should, which is a bowl game, but it is what it is. I mean, you know, it's going to be interesting. The matchup to me is going to be, you know, Williams versus our corners.
Yeah.
You know, what are, and, you know, like we talked with, you know, Coach Burks and on your show, Johnny, or I'm sorry, Jackson. I think we're going to do the same thing we did for Jeremiah Smith. There's just so many fucking J's. I got Johnny in the chat. I got John here. I got Jackson Johnson. And fucking so many J's.
Double J, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Johnny, you know, it's all good. But in my opinion, that's the matchup that's going to matter. And then the other matchup is our defensive line against your offensive line. Can we get pressure here? Can we make Jalen Milroe uncomfortable, just like we did Will Howard? Now, I believe Wink Martindale is going to have a similar game plan like he did for Ohio State. The problem is we don't have the artillery we had against Ohio State. No Mason Graham, no Kenneth Grant. No Josiah Stewart. That matters, right? So the boys are going to have to step up. TJ Guy, it's a big game for him. Let's see if he can make some noise. You know, Derek Moore's playing. He's got to step up. You know, so we'll see what the boys can do. Jeremiah, you know, I'm curious. Do you think they'll put Jayshon Barham at Sam? Do you guys think we'll get an early look at Jayshon Barham at Sam position because Josiah Stewart's out? Maybe that'd be interesting. Give Jimmy Reuter a little run at the Will position. That could be interesting. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The way I'm approaching this game is I'm going to enjoy it because it's the last game until spring ball. And then it's going to be spring ball. It's going to be all the way to freaking end of August, early September. That's a long off season, boys. So like, just appreciate it. Have fun with it. Hopefully we get pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. And one player we haven't touched on yet, who we're going to be seeing, Keon Sabb, is going to be playing in this game. He did improve his.
Oh, you mean Benedict Arnold?
Benedict Arnold is playing in this game.
That son of a bitch.
And he has gone up in his tackles, 39 over 28 last year. He has 2 picks. He's going to be a factor in this game. I'm sure he's going to be. He's going to have there's going to be a little extra emotion playing against Keon Sabb. And yeah, Benedict Arnold. We see Trader in the chat. Absolutely. All right, y'all. So with that said, Jax, is there any other players that you kind of have circled that we should be aware of?
Well, Backway coming back to the lineup where he was going to enter the transfer portal, but then he had a change of heart, realizing, you know what? I'm happy where I'm at in Tuscaloosa. What was I thinking? I'm going to go back with my friends here in Tuscaloosa. That's another guy to look out for is Jalen Backway.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. And then,
I think
yeah.
I'm silent. I mean, it's like, I should know how to pronounce these names, but it's like, I forget to.
Hey, it's tough. I don't know if you were listening to the struggle bus that we were doing with the portal. These things happen. But okay. So let's go to this. Keys to the game for both teams. What does Alabama need to do to win the ReliaQuest Bowl, Jackson?
We have to do what we did against LSU. We have to run the ball. We have to do what we did against Missouri. We have to do what we did against Georgia. What do all those things have in common? We ran the ball. That's what we have to, just ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. We have to do that against the Michigan Wolverines. As for Michigan, maybe you're not going to beat Alabama with a passing game, but you can outsmart them. How? You can beat them with a shuffle pass. Highlighted in the losses to Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and the game where we almost lost to South Carolina. You want to beat Alabama? You have to make sure you got enough shuffle passes ready and raring to go, especially when you're trailing by 1 possession.
The shuffle pass, Jackson?
Yep. Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
We'll see what Davis Warren. We'll see if Davis Warren's got some shuffle passes up his sleeve.
Hey, you never know. Davis Warren.
He just has to watch what Diego Pavia did, and he has to watch what Tennessee was doing and what Oklahoma was doing, and he'll be good to go.
Fair enough.
TJ, what do you think?
All right, so if anyone watched the Alabama live show, we gave our keys of the game, we gave our predictions. So I mean, look, the keys are simply this. You got to get pressure on Jalen Milroe. You have to generate pressure. We are lacking some of our top players, but you have to make them uncomfortable, just like you did Will Howard. The other key to the game for me is you got to protect Davis Warren. We know this. It all comes down to the trench game. Okay, we're not going to win with our wide receivers. Our wide receivers are not winning this game. But our trench play can be a difference here, potentially. But it's up to them to step up and come to play that day. The last thing is establish the run. That is the strength of our offense. If we can establish the run, then that matters, and it does open up things. And what's also very interesting to me, John, is Sharon Moore is going to be the play caller for this game. It will not be Kirk Campbell. Kirk Campbell's not even in the room.
Nope, he gone.
Chip Lindsey
That
is
helps.
though. Chip Lindsey, you know damn well Chip Lindsey's helping Sharon Moore game plan this game. So now Chip Lindsey won't be on the sideline for this game, I don't believe. But we'll see what Sharon and Co can do. My score prediction, and I know, guys, I don't even like what I'm going to say. 31-17 Alabama. Only because Jalen Milroe is playing and we're losing, and a lot of our guys are just sitting out.
Yeah. So I try to give the keys for both. For those of you who watched, I try to give the keys for both if I can. Key for Alabama, you have more people playing than Michigan does, from what I understand. Milrow's got to do what he does, be a dual threat, run the ball a lot, like you said, be able to pass enough to keep things honest. Defense just needs to keep things one-dimensional on the Michigan side. Keep Davis Warren off the board too much. I know he can be potent, but you guys, I think you guys might be able to handle it. And really, it's containing Jordan Marshall is the key. Jordan Marshall is slated to be running back 1 in this game. He is, I'd say, going to he might be the surprise of the game. So we'll go. And then for Michigan's side, it's really spy on Milrow, contain Milrow as much as you can. D-line, can they step up after Mason Graham sits out, Josiah Stewart sitting out, some of these players that are going to be not playing. We know that they've been able to compensate for Will Johnson not playing, but can they overcome it up front in the interior D-line? That remains to be seen, but you're going to need to do that. Davis Warren needs to do enough to be a conductor of the orchestra, like I said on the show, Alabama Live. Conductor of the orchestra, don't turn the ball over, hand it off, good AF, and let Jordan Marshall cook, let Ben Hall cook, let Micah Coppin cook, and then, Marlon Klein, I believe he's playing. So Marlon Klein, Hogan Hansen, get the ball to them. They're going to be kind of picking up some of the slack with Colston Loveland out. So get the ball to those guys. And then Kendrick Bell just absolutely goes nuts. Who knows? Or Fred Moore.
Kendrick Bell, huh? Okay.
Anything can happen.
Kendrick Bell.
Anything can happen. Okay? Anything.
That's right.
So,
Kendrick Bell is starting to become a myth and a legend, bro.
Yeah. So there you have it. Prediction. I have a very unique. I decided to go very unique prediction here: 20-19, Michigan.
I like it.
There will be a safety included.
Cool. I had Alabama winning 28-17. I feel like that's what the score is going to be.
Fair enough.
That sounds about. I mean that's a very Michigan Bama. That feels very right. Like 28-17. It's a good. I like that.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like you always have to make sure you're looking at who's the most likely to opt out, who's the least likely, and look at the whole seasons. I don't know if that Ohio State win is if the Michigan Wolverines are going to be in hangover mode, but we're going to wait and see what happens.
No, I think Sharon's going to get the boys fired up. Honestly, I think we have a good culture. I think Sharon will get them to play. The question for me is, with all of our first round talent, how much of a deficit is it really going to be? That's what we're going to see. But I mean, I think a lot of Michigan fans feel similar. I think we think Bama's going to come in and probably handle business, but you just never know sometimes. I mean, it is an opportunity for our young guys to show up, so we'll see what they can do.
Well, on the bright side, I know I'm not going to see anything stupid like what we saw with Tennessee before the game started against Ohio State, where they were acted like they were going to take over Columbus. Like, yeah, right. You acted like the game was won before it even started. We're not seeing either Alabama or Michigan act like that. And that's what I love about the fan bases.
Yeah. No, it's great fan bases. And I will say this about our last game, Jackson. What I loved about the Bama fans, okay, is that when Michigan beat Bama, you know what they didn't say? You cheated. You know what they did say? Good game.
Yeah.
You won. They took their L with dignity. They didn't try to pass a bill to make it a felony. to plant a flag or anything like that, or blame it on the wind, or blame it on the cold, or blame it on the flu, or blame it. Okay, I'm a little salty, but you see what I'm saying? Like because you know what winning's like.
Right.
It's hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is no, but you're right, John. The difference, like when Jalen Milroe was asked about, do you think Michigan cheated? Jalen Milroe says, who gives a shit? We lost the game. He didn't say shit, but he says, who cares? We lost the game. Like no one, of course, Michigan didn't cheat, by the way, but you know, the media and all the bullshit. But the point being is like Alabama owns their L's where Ohio State has to come up with excuses. Mm-hmm. They can't handle it. They act like children. We saw how they acted when the planting of the flag. And then what did they do against Tennessee? The same thing they did to Michigan. Players are coming in and out of the tunnel. You got the Ohio State players all lining up on the damn sideline. Jack Sawyer talking shit to all these dudes again. It's like, man, you guys are a bunch of pussies, bro. Like, I'm so glad. I'm so glad Michigan took it to them, bro. And I cannot wait for next season's game. Well, I really can't wait for next season's game because it's home, right? It's a home game, and I feel Michigan's gonna be more competent offensively. We are losing a lot of talent though. We need to do more on the portal. But that said, I think Michigan can go 5 in a row.
Oh man, I know like one guy on Discord was like bragging about how Ohio State was going to put Indiana in their place a couple weeks before they played them. I'm like, dude, you're bragging about putting a team in their place that you've beaten every year since 1991. Like, really? That's what you're bragging about? Good God. That's wrong.
It's wild. It's wild. Jackson, so we're at that time now. So I'm going to ask you for final thoughts. And of course, tell us all about Alabama Voice College Football and where else people can find you.
Well, I can tell you right now, I can't wait for New Year's Eve to come already. I'm so excited about the Alabama-Michigan matchup. I mean, I'm sad that a lot of people aren't too excited about it, but I'm not going to wait for everybody else to get excited. All I know is I love it. I'm excited about it. And, you know, some of the fans will come around or they won't. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to the Alabama-Michigan matchup in the Rely Quest Bowl. Who knows? Maybe they can turn it into the next Alabama-Clemson. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Could be an epic game. We will have to see.
Hey, I mean, it could be like a quadruple series. Like it could be like a Star Wars type series. I don't know yet, but we'll wait and see. I'm getting excited just thinking about this game. But of course, you can find me on Alabama with the Voice College Football Monday afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where Johnny Burtz and myself will re-go over the latest on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Plus, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports and I take your calls on the Alabama Crimson Tide. We don't care that you're an Alabama fan. We don't care that you pull for Auburn, Tennessee. We don't care who your team is. We want you to come on in and talk to us about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Come on in. We want you to come on in every Thursday night. And of course, you can find me on Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube, where I've got 2 of my latest episodes of the Jacksonian with Big Ten Ted, where we talked a lot about the playoff field and the 2024 season. And I've got Alan Cole from episode 58 from Gamecock Scoop at Rivals, where we talked a little bit about the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Citrus Bowl preview. And for more updates on who's going to be on the Jacksonian and the plans for Alabama at the Voice College Football, check me out on Jackson VOCFB on X/Twitter and Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Jackson. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on. You know, TJ, you were talking about like if there are like more versions of myself, like giving out 10% of what I do, like the network would be really thriving. I'll tell you right now, like if there was like more people doing what you guys were doing, like 10-hour shows, like I can tell you right now, you think the network's really thriving? My God, it's like boom, boom. Like,
We'll get there, man. We got big things on the horizon. Looking forward to
Yes,
what's to
we-
come for 2025. A
Mhm.
lot of major projects in the works right now.
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
We'll get there,
one of those
Jackson.
could be. One of those are all the Power 4 teams will be filled up before
We'll
the
get
summer.
there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll
All
get
right. Yeah. Yeah. Slowly but surely.
There we go. Got
all
some nice
right.
tricks to work
Onward
on.
and
before I go to
upward.
bed.
All right, Jackson. Thanks for stopping by, man. See you soon.
there. Go blue, bro.
Roll Tide and go blue.
All right. That's Jackson Johnson. You can catch him Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern on Alabama Crimson Tide Live and also the call-in show. It's always a good time. And before we get to our wrap up here, we do have a couple of more super chats. So Sunny Days, the B-Dubs kid with the 2, is Lindsay on staff and helping with bowl practice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is, but I don't think he'll be on the sideline for the game. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I could
'cause-
see him helping with the game plan, but
Yeah,
I think it's
so.
going to
And he's
be
definitely at
more
practice.
Sharon Moore play caller and Steve Kasula as interim.
Yeah, they got
We'll see.
Kasula there, so I mean, I think they'll just finish the year out. But I mean, he's definitely not sitting with his hand on his hands, you know. I like to hear more though. I mean, I'm sure there's a little more to be had. I'll see if I can figure anything out by next show.
Detroit Kyle's back with a 5 here. Imagine Moore cooks up a Demon Hours game and we pull a dub.
Shit,
Hey,
I mean, that'd be epic. I mean, dude, I'll
beat
tell you,
Ohio State.
that'd be such a fun way for New Year's Eve, though. Like, New Year's Eve is going to be a good time. And that would just make it more hype. I'm all for more hype. More hype, the better. Let's go.
For sure. Hey, we got Marmar. Marmar has now been a member for a month and says Sean McGee hasn't miscalculated anything.
You didn't even say it. He's yelling. He's yelling.
Yeah, that's what
Sean
he does.
McGee
That's just his
hasn't
vibe.
miscalculated a goddamn thing. All right?
Yeah.
We'll see, Marmar. To be determined, my friend.
There it is. So coming up, oh yes, real quick, coming to an Amazon near you, go ahead and get Disputed National Champions. It's a great read, and this Christmas season, stop by the fireplace and learn about some Disputed National Champions with Mark Rogers. Our next show is Michigan Post Game Live, which is going to be after the game. After the ReliaQuest Bowl, we're back with the world famous, the real world famous call-in shows that we've been doing. Forget the Buckeyes, the call-in shows that we've been doing. Michigan Post Game Live after the ReliaQuest Bowl, December 31st, New Year's Eve. With both of us, we'll be here taking your calls, getting your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That is going to be 8 days away. So in 8 days will be our next show, John. That's like our longest gap in a long time, bro. So enjoy the holidays. We'll be rested and ready to go.
Absolutely. And here's a good wrap-up super chat here from the New Life with the 5. Merry Christmas to John, TJ, and everyone who frequents their podcast. Go Blue. Merry Christmas to you, and go Blue to you also, New Life.
Thank you, New Life. We appreciate you. Hey, man, have an excellent holiday. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy Wednesday. Appreciate it. It's snowing in Michigan, so I'm gonna have snow. Hopefully that holds for Wednesday. I'm excited. I'm pro snow. So until February, snow can go away. But we're gonna get snow for Christmas, it looks like. So I'm happy to hear it. Fucking enjoy your time with your family, my friends, and make the most of it. And let's just do the damn thing. We'll get through it, and we'll see you guys in a week.
Yeah, we're this isn't Ohio State. We like snow over here, and so
we don't run.
there even where I am, looks like we've got a winter weather advisory, so maybe we'll get a little flake or two.
There you go.
Been waiting, so let's see. But all right, so follow us. Obviously, check out our show every week, but follow us. Thanks to the Win Agency for everything that you do. And follow us at John Diadamo and TJ_Ronan, which you can see here and at the bottom. And until next time, go blue. We'll see you soon.
Go blue.
Merry Christmas.